Hey there, Face Off fans. We have a very special episode tonight because we are not talking about one. We're talking about two extra awesome episodes of Face Off. Episode 7, Maritime Monsters, and Episode 8, Immortals Interrupted. And we have a special guest. Keaghlan Ashley is back in the house. Whoop, whoop. Stay tuned.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Hey there, Face Off fans! Welcome to the AfterBuzz TV Face Off After Show. This is an awesome week because we are talking about two episodes from Season 13 Battle Royale, Episode 7 Maritime Monsters, and Episode 8 Immortals Interrupted. I'm your host Alana Jordan, and joining me today is the incomparable Keaghlan Ashley!
Hi there, guys. How's it going? That's quite an intro.
I'm very excited that you're back.
I'm super excited to be back. I've missed you too. It's been far too long.
It's been far too long. You know, if we're talking about Maritime Monsters, we have to bring in our resident face-off mermaid.
Oh, I thank you. I'm so excited. I was so sad that that was such a cool challenge. I wish I could have been a part of it.
I would have loved to see what you would have done with that challenge.
Probably a mermaid.
Probably a mermaid. Probably a really, really awesome siren-esque mermaid.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the first episode we're talking about is Maritime Monsters. This was episode 7, and this was the last of the battles, the head-to-head battles. This was a really cool one, too, because they had an actual 16th century map. A real map that they had.
That was really neat. I all of the illustrations on that were super interesting and so cool to pull from, just kind of the inspiration.
This was a pretty cool one too, because unlike the other episodes where basically you would pick your battle partner by picking the actual challenge aspect of it, this one they got to each pick their own unique character, and they had their own little trinkets, two little matching trinkets. So whichever trinket you chose, that would be what determined who you were battling. So it was less about the creature and more about you could actually choose who you were battling, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that was really neat.
So the first battle was between Mel and Derek. And I honestly loved both of these looks. I thought that these looked really, really cool. Mel went with kind of a literal seahorse aspect of it. This one, though, she did have a little bit of issue with. Michael Westmore, I think we can see hers a little close up here, the next photo here. Yeah, so Michael Westmore basically said, don't block out in black. Don't start in black, build up.
You're always starting kind of at a disadvantage when you work that dark. It's always easier to build from light to dark. And so it's, unless you're trying to create something that's metallic or something that's like wood or something like that, you typically don't want to go that route. So she already kind of put herself in a weird place from the get-go. So I would have loved to see her start, if she was going to go that bold with a solid yellow, I would have loved to see just the solid yellow and then play into that. I really did like what she did with the back piece as well. I thought there were some really cool sculptural elements.
I liked it a lot. I will say though, because she was trying to do metallics, so that is, we do want to point out that it wasn't that she was intentionally doing blacks because she wanted the gold to pop.
I just don't think doing that kind of technique, you typically want to do something where it's they're not going to mix at all. And unfortunately, the paints from what she was using, I'm not sure which product she was using, but they were starting to blend together.
Kind of turned greenish.
Yeah, and unless you're doing and I just don't think that for a water challenge, you want to kind of put yourself in that position where you're already experimenting with product as it is. I don't think that that's the time to make those kinds of choices.
Well, the thing was, this wasn't a choice. This was a mistake, which she blatantly said. She said, this was an error. I did not mean to start with black. Michael Westmore told me, don't start with black, and I did it, and then I realized I reversed it, and it should have been yellow, and then put the black on top, and then put the metallic on top of that. But it is, you get in that moment.
Frame, you get a little crazy, for sure. You find yourself doing things that you were I don't do makeup like this. What am I doing right now? So I can see, watching that kind of go down, I'm like, oh, baby child. No, we've all been there. I
like too that we're both and you don't want green for an underwater challenge, as we're wearing our green outfit. It's all right. Creature from the Black Lagoon, Cthulhu. It works. It's
just
maritime.
Have to also keep in mind when you're doing that, like the blues in the water and like all of those things are going to change your paint job. And so even with like the yellow, that was a very bold choice to make.
Well, this was a big thing about this challenge too, was this was a unique one because not only did the artists have to create their makeups, they then had to submerge their makeups into a glorified dunk tank.
Basically, yeah.
And
that did occur on season 2, and we all saw how like that could go disastrously wrong with some of the cast members, and so like seeing them bring that one back, I was always kind of wondering, like kind of every single challenge we always we're like, please don't be underwater, please don't be underwater, please don't be underwater, because there is so many things that can go wrong.
Yeah, I did really, really like this look though. I know that Mel said that she felt like her creature could be a Beanie Baby, but I disagree. I liked it.
I think if she just changed the nose up, I think that was really that like kind of pug nosy like snub thing.
Yeah,
it's
I did
never
like
really,
it though.
It's never really going to help you create something scary.
Yeah.
So
now Derek, however, he did win this challenge. He got kind of this catfish koi dragon inspired thing.
I loved how the wardrobe added to it, like just kind of get that flow to it. So
yeah, I liked it a lot. This one was really cool. I liked too that he intentionally went with like a smooth look, that he didn't want to be, too textured so that it would look more fishy underwater. I thought that was a really, really good call. And the judges ended up liking this even better underwater than they did on
the,
land.
Like little tendrils too, just kind of floating. The way everything kind of interacted with itself underwater it just created such an ethereal aesthetic, which was super pretty.
And I did like that he was the only one who actually used fish skin.
Oh,
which
yeah,
I was
that's
like,
right.
for a maritime challenge, it's like, hey guys, that's pretty smart to
see what
use
you did there.
fish skin. Like you can, it looks good underwater.
Fishkin can, like it's one of those products that can be finicky, and it's a good thing that he did reinforce it because he used a little bit of latex, because that will, at a certain point, it probably would have started to deteriorate and like would have just melted into the water, which is not what you want either.
But ultimately, he did an amazing, amazing look, ended up winning that challenge. The next battle was between Walter and Matt. Now, Walter went with kind of this otter sea lion type thing. He wanted to add in the tusks. You can see him versus Matt's kind of goblin shark-esque swordfish inspired look. These, surprisingly, color palette wise, very similar. Very similar paint jobs.
I love of the team, like of the battles, I think these are my two favorites, like going head to head. Like for me, I loved what Walter did with his paint job.
Fish head to fish head.
Fish head to fish head. I loved what he did with the paint job. I thought it was super stunning. I think one of his, and he said it himself, one of his best paint jobs on the show. I think, as far as I know to date, like I thought it was a gorgeous paint job. And it could have, like bringing the tusks into play, it could have gotten really goofy, but he was actually really able to keep this kind of like staunch, menacing character, which was really impressive. And then Matt, on the other hand, went completely off the wall.
We'll talk about Matt in just a second. Yeah. We're gonna kind of stay one at a time here. Gotcha. But yeah, so for this one, again, he did use the epoxy on the tusks to kind of make them more strong. Michael Westmore did give him the feedback to kind of be a little bit more fish-like, which ultimately it was really smart that he took that advice here, because it really, really paid off. I think it looked great, adding that cellophane to make it look, kind of the iridescence underneath it.
That acetate was a really nice choice for Finn.
I thought it was absolutely brilliant. So this one didn't win, but it was a safe look. It was the only look that was not a bottom look, because... And I mean, honestly, this one, it could have gone either way. I feel.
Well, at this point, that's so heated in the game that like every single one of those competitors are pulling out their best stuff. So even if it's a safe makeup on another season, that probably would have been a winning makeup.
Oh yeah.
So I also loved the wardrobe on that. He was the only one that went with a very, very specific kind of character style wardrobe, which I thought was a really, really bold move on his part. So
yeah, I thought it was absolutely brilliant. Versus Matt's was way, way cool, but talking about wardrobe, he barely had any because it was all makeup, which I think is the reason. I honestly think that that's the reason that this one took it, is because just the sheer amount of work that he put in. There's so much
paint there, absolutely.
It's insane. It looks absolutely... I mean, this looks like it just swam out of my worst nightmares to come and terrorize me.
Matt's always taken these really, really interesting kind of stylized risks with his sculptures, but I really, really appreciate them because he is creating these really innovative characters that like I would, never have thought to do something like that. And he's always kind of from week to week doing that, is saying like, how can I take what you're not seeing and make it happen? Which I think is really cool.
Now, the really cool thing about this too, which I kind of thought he would probably take this one, I feel like it is kind of a testament to Walter that he did so well on this one, was because this is the second time he's won an underwater challenge. Like you were saying, season 2, the second episode, Matt was the one who won that one. So he was the one who was brought back from season 2.
He's like, I got this. I know exactly what to do with product. I know how to keep it from falling off. Now, like, I'm going to take it even further, which is really, really cool to see.
And I love that he flat out was like, none of these youngsters have ever done this before.
Like, back in my day, I'm gonna get you, kiddies.
That's one of my favorite too, because he just not only makes amazing things, but he's really competitive, but in a very like loving way.
Oh, absolutely. It seems super. Like I haven't had the pleasure to meet him, but it's always coming from a very like jovial place. Like, I'm gonna get you, kiddies. But it's always for fun, you know.
I absolutely love it. I love that you could see the kaiju influence and how it was very, like Godzilla-esque.
I loved like the chest plates. Like I know V mentioned that during the episode, like just how the chest plate kind of all that movement worked to its advantage and make it look like these moving plates and stuff.
Pretty incredible. It's pretty incredible
cool
work. And underwater, it just read super duper well as well. So Glenn said it was his favorite shark head thing he had ever seen, ever. Which
ever.
Probably one of my favorite quotes. Because Glenn, who's normally, and then Neville too, who's just very, very
I didn't get enough
eloquent
aqua puns from either of them, though.
We got no aqua puns.
I'm a little sad about that.
I would thought we'd be drowning in them.
Out of their depth, I guess.
Yeah. They're just over their head and underwater. All right. The third and final battle. This one, I love this photo too, because this looks like these guys are about to literally face off.
Yeah, like a boxing ring under the sea.
The boxing is always better. So this one, really, really cool. Jordan ended up winning this entire challenge. Not only this battle, but he won not just the battle, but the war.
So deserved, though. This
very deserved. Look at that.
Honestly, might be one of my favorite face-off makeups, like, period.
This might be one of my favorite makeups ever.
Oh.
Just in general. Because to me, it looks like if I saw this on a poster, to me it looks like the evil cousin of Doug Jones's character in Shape of Water.
Yeah.
It's like if Shape of Water was not romantic and instead was a horror story like My Dating Life, this would be exactly what we would see.
I just love all of that modeling and the paint job he did. Watching that kind of take place, like starting with purples, which I was very, very curious to see how he was going to take that purple into kind of the albino world he was talking about. But just like such a stunning paint job. The sculpture was so beautiful. I just can't sing praises high enough for this makeup. It's super pretty.
I absolutely love it. I love it. And I love that he too points out that his model was like really selling the character, because it does make a difference. Right?
Oh, absolutely. Like your model can typically make or break your makeup. I've on a few of my challenges when they weren't necessarily given it their best, I usually felt a little more nervous about the character. So it's definitely like if you have somebody that's committed to your vision, they'll sell it just as much as your makeup will.
And I think it's cool too that, Michael Westmore gave him the advice of put a little hole in the jaw so that way the water will drain through, so that for your model it's not going to sink down and kind of pull their chin.
And that's something like that's an instance where Michael Westmore's experience and his critiques are invaluable, because sometimes he's not always the best when it comes to specifically the like concepts, like the conceptuals. I always wanted to stick with my own stuff, but with his like technical experience, that's really where you gain from his interaction with you. And that was that makeup could have gone very, very wrong had he not like given him that little bit of information.
What I did think was interesting though was I was like, no one's gonna mention that like Bud Westmore did the creature from the Black Lagoon makeup, like straight up the quintessential maritime monster was from the Westmore family. So what out? Shout out, Bub. So
hey,
whatever. It's like, if you're gonna ask somebody, Michael Westmore is the person to ask about aquatic monsters. This was, I really, really loved that he used the circle patterning too.
I thought it was gorgeous.
Genius. And V straight up said that it could have just walked right out onto a movie set.
Oh, it was such a clean makeup.
Swam right
and
out.
like there wasn't even any instance where he like everything of him was painted. Like on some of the other makeup, sometimes you can check like, oh look, a little patch of skin's kind of poking through. Not one aspect. Like every square inch of that kid was painted, which is always really impressive with such a big sculpture and then such a big body paint as well.
Yeah. This one was absolutely incredible, and Neville straight up said it was absolutely killer makeup.
Also, that
so.
model's kind of bae, though. Let's just...
I know, right? I'm like, let's just take a second to appreciate.
I would talk to him under the sea. Hey, boo.
Yeah, I'm like,
Call
I
me
can
on
hold my
cell
breath for a
phone.
minute to wave. Like, I'll visit you.
Just zoom on in.
fine.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, I like the slow pan up
You
to
can
the
call me on my
fish
cell
head.
phone. Hey.
Hey, yes. No, Damien's, unfortunately, didn't quite match up as well. He was really upset about this makeup,
yeah.
but truth be told, I can understand pieces of it coming apart underwater. That I can see getting upset about. And I know that he was kind of bummed because
He didn't get to
ran out
finish
of
his
time.
paint job. Yeah. Which I would love to have seen it with another hour, but looking at what he has, like
awesome.
I've seen I've seen that paint job win before.
Yeah.
You know? So I don't necessarily think that he was a little too hard on himself.
That's how I felt.
But I also Damien and I go way back to season 7. Like he and I were partnered together, and like first partner challenge out of the gate for both of us was together. And so I remember back in the day when he was just starting out, and just like he had just come from Kansas, it was all self-taught, and so
We're not in Kansas
and
anymore.
we're not in Kansas anymore. And like seeing from where, like in my mindset, where he was from then and to this, artist now and going further, like it's leaps and bounds beyond what like I ever thought he was capable of. It's amazing to see his growth as an artist. And like even this one speaks highly to that.
And I think a lot of people don't know, too, he works for Mortal Mask, and he does such a good job of not making things look mask-like.
No.
Which I'm like, that is such a testament to his work that you're like, he literally could do both. Like,
Yeah,
he could do
absolutely.
absolutely anything. V kind of bummed me out, though, when he was like, this paint job sucks. And she's like, you said it, this paint job sucks. And I'm like,
Yeah,
get out of here.
she can be a little harsh sometimes, but
Kneel down.
I actually really kind of liked the sculpture on the face and head.
The sculpture I thought was great.
Really, really interesting take on his image, because his image was a little derpy looking.
Yeah, when you looked at it, that's what I wish that they would have had the reference behind it,
Yeah.
like the part of the map behind it, so you could say, oh, these are the elements that they clearly
Yeah.
took out. Because sculpture-wise, I thought this was brilliant.
thought it was neat.
The tendrils on it, I thought were brilliant. The scales, all of it. I absolutely loved it. I know he got really upset, though, because the fins were kind of breaking free and the quills kind of fell out. But
Which that's one of those things. Like if anything's gonna fall off on a makeup, that's probably gonna be the one. Those little wavy pieces that are so delicate. Like it's not like his face fell off.
that's what I'm saying. Is it's like, okay, you had to add these in
Yeah.
last looks.
So
They're drying while you're then putting him in water. So it's like, if this had been on a movie set, it's unlikely that they would have been like, make this makeup right now and we're going to throw you into a pool.
I will say not one of them used web pans, and I'm a little sad about that.
I actually am surprised. I was looking at this with the
Like
pose
this
here.
one would have really, really benefited, in my opinion, because there was already that silhouette and that shape was so prevalent in the piece itself. I thought it could. I mean, whether or not it would save the makeup, but I think it's still cool
still
makeup.
liked it.
Like I think it'd be cool with some webbed hands.
I think so too.
Just
I
that
know
movement too.
Yeah, to have the kind of
Yeah.
the flowy, give him a hand.
Yeah. Let's hear it for the squid.
Yeah. So overall, I thought this was great. I know Neville said that he felt the pink parts were a little anonymous
I
and
think they just
unresolved.
needed
but
a little more love. Like if there was if there were a couple other layers of pinks and maybe some purples and stuff just to add to it, I thought it was a really cool kind of like gilly membrane. I thought like you'll see that in fish and stuff. So I don't think he was too far off. I just think if he had gotten, maybe an hour or so more.
I think so too. And I feel like part of it, I mean, wardrobe wise, you look at Matt that had the loincloth, and then you look at this one that looks like he's putting a towel on. It's
wrapped
like
in a
that's
towel.
not Damien's fault. Like that's not, like that's, I don't know. I think
Take
that
5 minutes
probably
and rip
added.
up a couple holes, maybe throw a net on it. You're good to go.
Yeah, I think if he had a little bit more time, this would have been an absolutely killer look. Unfortunately, this one did put both him and Mel in the bottom, so they were both bottom looks. Walter, of course, safe, because that one, I'm like, if there was ever going to be a tie in a battle, it should have been those two.
Oh, absolutely.
But what I think also hurt Damien was, as V pointed out, is there were 3 makeups that had the same color palette.
Yeah, at a certain point, you do need to like kind of pick your head up and look around the room and see what you're doing, kind of read the room, as it were.
Yeah.
And so like, not that you need to completely veer off of what you're doing, but they're typically on the show, you need to have that moment where you're like, everybody's doing this one aesthetic is my aesthetic the best of these aesthetics, and kind of revisit what you're doing. But also, again, there's not always that time.
Yeah,
so.
time factor I think was a big one. But ultimately, this did give Jordan his very first challenge win.
Which I'm surprised. I didn't realize
that was his very
Yeah.
first. He was like, this is his first the whole season.
I've always been a big Team Jordan fan, though. Like, his aesthetic is so interesting and kooky and cool. But it's also cool to see him kind of escape from that cartoon world a little bit and see what
Yeah.
else he's capable of. So
Because that one was really cool, whereas Damien felt a little bit like a fish out of water.
no. Wah, wah, wah.
That was just for the pun. We still love you, Damien. So, I think we have sufficiently sunk that episode. Ready to move on to some Immortals?
Sure.
Dun, dun, dun. Now, I do have to say, too, while we have so many awesome shows for Face Off, and we're talking about 2 episodes of Face Off, we have so many amazing shows in general here at AfterBuzz as well. So, AfterBuzzers, our network produces after shows for nearly all of your favorite TV shows, from dramas, reality TV, sci-fi, more. There is no network that works harder to serve television fans. But we need your help. So we're asking that you guys please subscribe to one or more of our YouTube channels. By subscribing to our channel, YouTube will suggest content that's tailor-made just for you, and you'll help AfterBuzz continue to grow. And if you're worried about pesky notifications, don't be, because they are optional. You definitely have the option to turn those notifications off. I personally like them, but if you don't, something for everybody. So hit that subscribe button right now. Do it. Go hit it. Hit it. Hit the button. Hit it. I know you want to. Click it for this channel. Also, check out all of our other AfterBuzz YouTube channels as well. Let us know that you did so in the comments below, and we will thank you guys on air. And for now, just thanks for being the best fans ever and for helping us be the ESPN of TV talk. And let's keep talking TV.
Can we talk about monsters?
Let's talk about monsters. Something that will never die. Immortals Interrupted. So basically,
monsters left.
we're going from under the water all the way to the sky. This one was based on bats and vampires. That's what's up.
That's what's up. That pun didn't suck.
Thank you. Most of them do. But this was so cool. Check out how awesome the lab looked. They completely, as Damien said, changed it into the bat cave. And he was stoked because he loves bats too. It's like, who doesn't love bats? The stuff that they are able to do in this lab, are you ever just taken away by...
Anytime that we walk into the lab and it's a challenge presented there, it's always like, we had snow on my season. Like, what? It's LA. Why is there snow? So it's always like the art department.
There's no business like snow business.
The art department for Face Off doesn't get enough credit.
They're absolutely phenomenal. This was a really, really cool one.
Yeah.
Now, unfortunately, man, dropping the guano right now is some guano's about to go down.
Sure is.
Because we've completely changed it. Welcome to the semifinals. This is it. So, for the first time ever, with 6 contestants left, half of them
Just hacked. Guillotined.
are cut. Yeah!
That's
knocked right out of the
heavy.
sky.
They've done like 2 eliminations, but I don't know if they've ever done the full 3.
I think this is the first,
ever.
that we've ever had 3 people knocked out at
Yeah.
once. Which, I'm going to be honest, I think it's kind of surprising because there's only 10 episodes this season, and it's
that's right.
season 13. Shouldn't have there been 13 episodes? I was like,
You
we
would
could have
think.
kept 2 of these guys for 2 more episodes. None of us would have fought you on it.
No,
Just saying, Face
there's a
Off.
petition and everything to not. So
Man, yeah, there is a petition to keep Face
I'm
Off
not sure
going.
what the numbers
I signed
out
it.
yet. I did too.
It's a lot. It's
There's
a lot of
now,
people who are into
so.
it. So if you guys want to,
Just saying.
just saying.
Sign that petition if you want.
Now, this one was way cool. Jordan, because he won last week, got some help from Todd Masters.
That was really cool.
That was so cool. The quintessential vampire who's done, Twilight Vampires, True Blood, underworld.
Yeah, actually,
my personal favorite.
I got to go to a panel at IMATS a couple years ago, actually, when I first got back from FX school, and he was leading the True Blood panel, and you got to see the like head twist and the punch through the chest and all that stuff. Like that, some of the coolest like practical effects from that show with vampires. So that was a huge, I'm sure, help. And he's a nice guy. I got to talk to him for a bit afterwards, and so like that, I'm a little jealous that they got that kind of experience this season. I'm like, oh, I wish I did this All Stars.
I don't know. You guys had some pretty awesome people in yours too.
Well, we didn't get the cool like professional help and stuff.
That's true. You had kind of help for everyone and like thrown in as well, but
I'm not jealous. Or like I do like the battle royale style. That was such a cool like format because you get to go head to head with the one person, always doing your own challenge, and then
and to get to see them and how they look, next to each other, seeing two
Very
artists,
cool.
very different interpretations of the same look.
Yeah.
Now, of course, Jordan had to throw in a little bit of luck too, because he had the horseshoe bat.
He did have the horseshoe bat. I didn't catch that one.
Lucky horseshoe bat.
Look at that.
With his help from Todd Masters, ultimately, this ended up being the winning look of the episode, which they barely touched on. They didn't really. Announce a winner.
Honestly, like after the end, I'm like, wait, who won this?
Yeah,
episode?
I had to like go and like look up and be like, wait, but who won? Because you didn't say. But Jordan.
I mean, that
so.
whole makeup was stunning. Like that, you want to talk about a makeup that can go right on the camera, like right then and there.
Oh my
that
gosh,
makeup,
look at that!
So pretty, like such detail to it. Like he really did go for quality over the quantity, and sometimes that's really just what you need. That's my personal approach to makeups. Sometimes Face Off, everybody expects to go big or go home, but I really think that this is a true testament to how much he's grown as an artist. It's just
and it's so hard to tell too if they want more quantity or quality, because sometimes like Kevin did this amazing work, the work he was eliminated on, that incredible tree. I was like, that is so cool. I don't understand.
Yeah.
But this one, I mean, you can definitely tell why this is a winning look.
Yeah, it's like there's so much finesse to it. It's beautiful. And the wardrobe really does a lot to like kind of make it a full cohesive character. That little bit of fuzz he had on the top of his head, like down to the kind of cloak. Like
I do think it is a genius idea that he followed Michael Westmore's advice and got rid of the Dobby ears, because I think that kind of the floppy, this ear look is absolutely incredible versus the kind of Dobby-esque.
They were too cute.
They were too cute.
It's so
too cute a bat.
Yeah.
You don't want to cuddle the monster that's coming to kill you.
It's true. I mean, not everybody, but
maybe I do. Maybe. This is the wrong panel to be saying that. But V gave her signature, "This is bitchin', dude." So if you get a bitchin' from V,
you know you're in the clear.
You know you're good. You are in it to win it.
Yep.
I love too that for this one, they had an extra challenge, which is after they present their amazing makeup, then they're told, hey,
you get a
surprise. Yeah. One more last look, 1 hour. Now your vampire has been burned. Some sun has crept its way in. What you gonna do with it? And this I thought was actually really genius, where he was saying, I hated having to pull out foam from this.
Thought that was a great approach.
Genius.
I actually they didn't necessarily like his approach to doing his burn with that, but I really thought it was cool because it kind of had that he's being shriveled into dust almost.
Yeah.
I don't think that they were too focused on actual burns. I'm like, it's a vampire though.
It's like everybody in the All-Star season knows how to do burn makeup.
It's a mythical creature.
Yeah.
I want to see how you think a vampire's gonna because some vampires, they like to implode into blood and guts, like True Blood.
Some just glitter in the sunlight.
You got your Buffy vampires that just burst into dust. And so I thought his was a really cool, neat approach. It was kind of mythical burn. It wasn't the goopy or the char. I liked it. I like this one a lot.
Neville said that he felt like it looked more like it was eroding, but I didn't think that was a bad thing.
Why? Yeah, I love that. It's
seeing the before and after. It's like, man, and I will say this was really cool that they pointed out that it had this perfect silhouette and then cut to intentionally destroying the silhouette to make it asymmetrical.
I love that.
I love taking the symmetry out. I
Yeah.
thought that was absolutely genius. So they even said every week he just gets better and better and better and takes the feedback. So I am not surprised.
And it's such a bold choice to say, like, I'm going to take this beautiful prosthetic and rip pieces off of it. Like, a little part of me would be crying on the inside having to do that. Like, I've worked so hard to make this beautiful character. And he had, like, basically 45 minutes to make that decision. So, like, kudos to him for being that bold and willing to, like, go there.
And absolutely crushing it.
Totally.
Definitely makes sense that he is going on to the finals here.
Absolutely.
I can't wait to see what he comes up with. Someone else who's going to the finals, Matt, who had the mouse-eared bat, which could have been adorable.
Oh, they all could have. I think bats are so cute.
I think bats are so cute. But
So-
he did such a cool job with this one.
This one was really neat.
And I love that he was saying, he was a semifinalist on season 2.
Mm-hmm.
He's back in the same place, and he's like, which to me just means almost, and that's not
Yeah.
good enough for me. I got to be better than almost. And now I'm up against everybody, and everybody's so awesome. I got to step up my game.
Yeah.
And so he creates this kind of angular albino ancient, which I love the alliteration, vampire that is kind of scorpion-like humpback.
Oh, I thought that was such a neat addition. It's another instance of him kind of just thinking outside of the box of like what your atypical, we've all seen the vampire bat with the wings. We've all seen, like there's only so many ways you can do vampire. I never would have thought of something like
I
that.
never
It's
would have
really
thought of
neat.
this.
I also really liked the addition of just the blood all the way up to his hands. It was a really quick way of kind of covering that surface area, but also like making it, it's a vampire. He's
and making
gonna
it seem like it's in the middle of a scene.
yeah, he's feeding, he's ripping some,
Because if you see that coming to you, that's even
that's
scarier.
terrifying. He's out for blood.
And speaking of terrifying, he straight up said that he had a moment of sheer panic and horror because he almost didn't get the back done at all because it cracked and he was still able to fix it.
I'm so impressed that he was able, that's mid-mold. He literally had to scoop out from beneath the stone that was already setting. He only had so much time to do that, and to get that to a place where it didn't lock, it didn't, just fall to pieces. It actually looked like what he wanted it to look like. Kudos to him for that kind of troubleshooting.
Absolutely incredible. And then I loved his design of adding the art text to make it kind of like this flesh-like burn that he has. And this was really cool too because I really like that it still has the same kind of basic beauty. You still see the beauty of it, but the damage just makes it more unique almost, the way that they add in. And that's even what Glenn said, was he said he felt like it was the most unique of all of them. And Neville was saying how all of his looks are very, very intelligent.
Yep.
V didn't like that she said that she felt that there was no directionality from it, which I don't get, because looking in this photo, I'm like, the source is clearly where he is even posing. It's coming from the top.
I don't necessarily, because I could say they're too close to it in that instance when they're looking at that, and also it's the sun, so it's everywhere. You're coming at it from all sides, so it's it's hard to depict, something that's widespread that's happening in an instant. You're looking at one frame of one, image in a film. So that's obviously the infection of the sun is spreading, basically. You kind of have to suspend your disbelief a little bit,
To me, it seemed like she had a very clear idea of where she wanted the sunlight to come from. And then if it wasn't that, then she was like, no direction.
Yeah, there's no, all right, but if they're just in the sunlight, it's everywhere.
Yeah, it's everywhere. I
So,
mean,
there's
being
not just
out here in
one
LA,
ray.
we can straight up tell you that sun is everywhere.
It's too
We've all
hot.
been melting. This is just a self-portrait at this point.
Absolutely. That's how I feel every day.
Not surprising that one is going to the finals,
No.
that Matt's going to the finals. And the final, which ended up being the first pick, who also got to pick his bat first.
Yep.
Walter is going to the finale. Brr, brr, brr. He had the false vampire bat, which is still a true winner. Yeah.
I love seeing all these in photo form because it's such a different, you see everything kind of in a different light.
Yeah, literally.
Literally.
It's literally lit differently.
Yeah, because that lighting in the studio is not always that great.
And this is just absolutely brilliant. I mean, you can tell this is very, very bat-like. And he was all worried because his season, the Skull Island Challenge, that he did this kind of bat-like creature that he was like, everything fell apart and it was a big disaster. And if I have to go through that again, then I will hate bats forever, basically.
I'm glad nobody tried to go for wings like that hard.
Yeah. This was, I mean, talk about somebody who was working up to the minutes. Literally steam is coming off of his mold.
Oh, man, yep.
To make sure that he gets it cleaned out in time so that he can run it. And man, that is just a testament to him. I think it's absolutely incredible. He did say, though, that for him, same where you and I think, Stan, where he's like, thrashing this makeup that was so beautiful, that I love so much, is killing me. I hate that I have to do this.
I would have hated that.
And he felt like he didn't like it as much after, which, I mean, I still
think it's cool.
I think it's way cool, but I agree with him. That initial look just looked so dope and was so scary that having a scary creature that has a weakness that you're like,
help me.
yeah.
Where's my SPF?
Yeah, it's like I'm with you, Walter. I understand, but this one is
I like it. It's still so menacing. It's still like you don't want to meet that in the cemetery. Like I love in that like shoulder blade, just that bit of like kind of raw tissue. I think it's really, really cool.
The trapeze is Neville, in his words, says that it still looks badass.
It sure does.
Which anytime Neville says badass makes me very happy. I'm like, that is V's bitchin', is Neville's badass. But Glenn even pointed out, too, that he has killed every single challenge that they've put in front of him. So it's not surprising that that's going to be...
He's throughout been a very consistent artist, which is really neat to see. And like even like outside of the face-off realm, like a lot of his work is just really, really well done and really cool to see. So.
I'm really glad they brought him back this season, too, because I felt like his season, he did not get enough screen time.
No.
Because he was just like, here's my awesome thing. And they were like, let's go focus on these other guys for a while. And I was like, well, I want to see like...
He's kind of quiet and
as
assuming, so, you know.
But he's awesome.
Unfortunately, us loudmouths take the stage for them.
Like, look at me!
Look at us.
Now, Derek, unfortunately, is one of the three that is going to be going home. I do have to say, all these guys have to be so proud of the work that they have done. He did the slit-faced bat that he wanted to look like it was trapped in a dungeon.
I really like this look.
I love it. It's very like Nosferatu-esque.
Just like so old and withered and just like this wizened ancient vampire.
Yeah, like to me, it's like the one who's pulling the strings, whereas Walters is the one like doing the damage.
Brute.
Yeah. The brute and the brains.
Yep, exactly.
We get to see them like side by side here. Now, when they changed this one, though, to make it more burnt, this was pretty genius. Was he took the black dust powder and mixed it with the Prozac.
Yeah, that was a neat trick. I didn't think like that was. I wouldn't have thought to do that.
I don't think I've ever seen that before. And I was like, that's such a good idea. And literally a 1 hour last looks that you didn't even know that you were going to have to do this.
And you basically, because they have to, like, if you noticed, all of their stations were completely clean. So they had to go from the start and reset up their stations. So they basically had like 45 minutes to get that stuff on. And I actually had to do a similar kind of scenario on All Stars for my season for our Mad Max challenge. We had a similar like 1 hour of last looks, and at that point you're tired. You're like you're on your last legs as far as creativity goes. So for all of them, like kudos to being able to pull out some cool stuff and
from last legs to last looks.
Absolutely
love this one. And I do like that they pointed out that he was the only one who used yellow to kind of make it look like the fatty tissue underneath, which
this one was really neat.
This was really dope. One last close up of this one. I just want to look at it. Oh, look at that.
I do see what they mean by it looking a little too two-facey, just with that straight line down the middle.
It is a little too symmetrical, which I understand, but considering
Although V gets her direction.
That's what I was going to say. She's so not like her direction. I was like, direction, clearly. This is it. Here it is. It's coming from the side.
Yeah.
I thought this was absolutely incredible, and kudos to Derek for just amazing work this entire season. So farewell, but we love you. Snaps all around. And we got to keep the snaps going for our boy Damien.
This one is so
bamboo
pretty.
bat.
Absolutely.
I loved this makeup. I absolutely adored this. And he had said, he felt like he'd started strong this season, and then we're kind of losing challenges, and now this is him kind of getting his strength
ramping up,
back.
kind of trying to get back.
Making this, as he says, a sleek and sexy creature, and he said he's having fun, which is usually a good sign.
At this point, all you can do is have fun, so.
Man, I absolutely love this. I think this is brilliant. Taking Michael Westmore's advice to you to leave that open so that he could kind of fit it better. this is one of the coolest looks that I have seen. I mean, this is...
I think this is honestly one of my favorite things Damien's done. Yeah. Like, it's, you know, really, really, like, beautiful sculpture work. And, like, the chest piece is gorgeous.
The chest piece is incredible.
I don't think the chest piece is any... Like, I think they all work cohesively together. I kind of got to disagree that one is better than the other. I think it makes one cohesive character. But I also just props to the wardrobe on all of them. All this wardrobe is really, really cool.
I loved this. Yeah, I'm with you. I feel like I couldn't say that the chest piece is better than the face because I think all of it is just so seamless. Literally seamless. Like
literally seamless.
Seamed it perfectly. So I loved this. Unfortunately, he loved it too, and then said that he went from liking a character to love it from being destroyed. Mm-hmm. So check this out. This one was way cool. He was really worried that it was going to end up being something that was going to take away from this beautiful makeup, but instead it just enhanced it and made it even cooler. This is the first time that he too got to make it to the semifinals. I think he was the only one who wasn't semifinals.
Yeah, no, he didn't make it on.
But
this episode after I got eliminated on 7 is when he got eliminated, I believe.
I feel like this, I mean, if you're going to go out on a makeup, going out on one like this.
One to go out on, yeah. He should be really proud.
Way cool. V, of course, her only thing was that it had no directionality, which I, again, disagree completely. I think that I can see exactly where this character walked out into the sun and then was wilted and burned away.
Yeah, I could see you kind of like crouching, trying to get out of the way from, like, they're not going to just stand there and take it. So
I love it. I think it's absolutely incredible.
Yeah. I like the kind of weird, just like kind of sinewy burning that's happening with it. I think it's really neat.
I thought it was really unfortunate that this one wasn't a top look because I think it was
at this point, like,
phenomenal.
they all had such really cool aesthetics, and like
again, that's why I wanted 2 more episodes, but I'm just saying. Yeah, definitely, Damien, be proud. Snaps all around.
Snaps all around.
And finally, the last person we have to say goodbye to. Oh, the one girl holding it down.
All Stars can't catch a break with that, man.
I know, right? So Mel had the painted bat, which she was really excited about because, in her words, it's a badass bitch.
I love this.
From one badass bitch to another. I'm like, Mel,
yes,
you are
queen.
a badass bitch, so it makes sense that you are making this.
Yas, vampire queen.
Yes. Absolutely love it. So making this accentuated bone structure, and she is a genius because she actually gave hers an umbrella.
I thought that was such a cute little touch. I really, really appreciated that she was like, you know what? I'm going to do me. Because there's so many times that you're on that like grind of looking around, you're like, oh, well, everybody's doing these crazy things. You can kind of lose sight about who you are as an artist. And I really love that, even though she did go out, she went out on her terms. And I think, there's so little you can, gauge what you're doing on Face Off. Like, most of the time you have no idea what the judges are looking for, so you might as well do your aesthetic.
That's one of my favorite quotes was that she was like, all of the boys' stuff looked like it came from the same town. Mine looks like it came from a different state, but this is what a vampire looks like to me.
Absolutely.
And I'm glad that the judges really, really liked this one too. She is the only one who actually went with the wings. That she made the wings on the mannequin, which was really smart. Then stippling the latex on top of the clay,
neat, problem solved to avoid having to do a mold. It was really, really good use of time.
Very, very intelligent. And then I loved this one. I know that she was kind of worried that it was going to be, as Michael Westmore said, was too cute.
Yeah, I would have loved to see her ears just here, like not necessarily like this. I was kind of not sold on the ears, like up top here in the forehead.
But to me, it makes me think of like a siren-esque mermaid, but in the air, where it's this beautiful, gorgeous woman that is luring you to your death, who's still creepy and scary. I love it. I think it was.
Yeah.
I adored this look. I thought it was really funny. That she said that she felt she should be exempt from
that was so
doing
good.
The burn challenge because she was the only one who planned ahead with an umbrella.
That was so cute.
I did think that was really funny. Unfortunately, they did not like her take on her vampire. I loved it. I thought it was brilliant, adding in the blood and having it be. I mean, because we don't see vampires bleed a lot, and it's like if they're drinking blood,
where's it go?
Shouldn't it? Yeah, shouldn't they be very blood filled?
You would think. Yeah.
They should just be big flying blood bags. I loved it. I thought it was brilliant. But they felt like V said it didn't have the source of the burns. However, Glenn pointed
Oh,
out
I loved this little touch.
the umbrella that she intentionally had little holes in the umbrella that
Yep.
she patched in to make it look like the vampire was trying to save herself from the sun. Because if you're going to have an umbrella
Yeah.
prop and you're going to say, well, the umbrella didn't work,
That's
you need
such
a reason.
Cute little quirky thing. I love it.
I thought it was brilliant. I thought it was absolutely brilliant. And
She's my kind of artist.
yes, I thought it was absolutely incredible. And the fact that she made it to the semifinals
Get
both
it, girl.
seasons, it's like, yes.
Yes, Vampire Queen.
Yes, Vampire Queen. All the way around, I have to say, these artists are absolutely incredible. This has just been a phenomenal season as well, too. And I know we have to kind of wrap up here and get up. Before we do, I know everybody's been wondering where they can find you and what all you've been up to, too, because you've been making tons of cool stuff.
Yeah, I've been up to a lot. It's been, a pretty good season this year. I just wrapped up a web series this week, actually, with another Face Off alum, Chloe Sens. That's going to be out shortly. And then last weekend was Comic-Con, so I got to pair up with Fox and Buffy the Vampire Slayer and do Buffy Slays San Diego, and got to bring, speaking of the vampire world, I got to do that and make the Master and bring him from the beyond the grave on our mutual buddy. And I'll be at Midsummer Scream this weekend in Long Beach doing a demo for Hollywood Makeup Academy on Saturday, and just going from monster to monster like I like to do.
So cool. And I have to say, since Buffy's making a revival, if anybody who works on the show is watching,
Give me a
this one right here can make some dope stuff. I saw it at Comic-Con. It was incredible. So, and I know everybody wants to see where they can find all of your awesome stuff too. So where can we find you on the internet?
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram at Red Till Dead Design. You can also find me at Twitter at Keaghlan Ashley. Just Google me. I'm the only one otherwise. And then you can also find me on Facebook. So
Yeah.
Keaghlan Ashley, I'm the only one.
It's the only one is in parentheses.
Just the only one.
And I'm Alana Jordan. You can find me on Twitter at Alana Jordan and on Instagram at That Alana Jordan Girl. You can find us here at AfterBuzz TV. And next week, we'll have Nayeli Morales back. She's going to give us a little recap, too, since this was her last ever episode was this week on Face Off.
Yep.
Many, many seasons. So be sure to tune in next week as well. We'll see you guys then. Bye.
See ya.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.